Good afternoon, good morning, hello. It's another edition of the Winner Circle Sports Betting Podcast, powered by GamblersWorld.net. I'm your host, Sean Higgs. It's Tuesday, August the 23rd, the 13th. Just about halfway through the month. Got Chip Chirimbes with me, as always, on Tuesday. We'll be talking some MLB, couple picks today, 2-1 yesterday. Me, you, and Doug getting it done here. So we'll continue with another winning day. But before we get to that, we started off, hit the like button here on the Winner Circle Podcast. We want you to come in, hit the like, leave a comment, let us know what you think about the picks. You like something different, that's okay. A lot to talk about. We got college football in 10 days away from college football, NFL regular season a month away, baseball, and we'll talk about some baseball stuff before we get into our picks, some yesterday's games. But wow, I hit the like button. Let's get us up to 15,000. And the GamblersWorld.net, me, Chip, 11 other handicappers. That's a baker's dozen for 13, in case you did not know that. Where you can get all of our picks. 3, 7, 30-day packages are all guaranteed, which means if we don't win over those days, you get a credit back, and then you hit the leaderboard, see how we're doing, who's hot, get on board, and we'll make you that money. And we have the special $349 rest of the Major League Baseball season is posted. And I believe we're going to have some stuff rolling out this week, Tip, for some NFL packages and specials, because it's right around the corner. I mean, and we can talk about, I'm sure we will, maybe touch on a little NFL preseason for this week. But let's talk about our little Yankees there yesterday. 12-2. 12-2, getting beat up by the South. What is happening here? I mean, we saw the A's go into Philly and drop like a 19 spot on Philadelphia. We saw Oakland put up 18 on the Orioles. Now the Yankees, it's not an 18 spot, but 12 to a team with 29, 30 wins. I get teams have some bad little games in them. We saw 3 teams, all perceived to be a front runner to win a World Series, Philly, Baltimore, and the Yankees, get absolutely demolished by a last place team. Oh, and now Jazz is hurt. What do you think? Well, I mean, what else is going on? How did you do yesterday in your overall place? But now you can tell us about any other thoughts.
We did fine on the show. Personally, I got beat with my big play. Atlanta bailed me out yesterday, going 1-2. Atlanta, what's going on with them as well? Sean, they can't seem to get a runner in scoring position or around the horn anyway. Yankees are a team, I think they're an imposter. I think they're a hoax. I think that was just an anomaly, what we saw them racing out to those 51 wins in the first 70 games. It's just they got too many holes in that lineup. I think they're very weak at second base, and first and third base haven't been a prize for them either. So I'll be surprised if they make it to the World Series. I expect some big pitching performances to come in the playoffs, and for Stanton and even Judge have trouble putting the ball in play against the big hard throwers.
The Braves 67-46 to the under on the year. I mean, I'm sure if we took out like the first 2 weeks when everybody was hitting on that squad, it's probably even worse than that. The entire team has forgot how to hit. Which. Yeah. And we're talking about the Yankees, right? I mean, you got Judge, Soto, Stanton, Soto and Judge walk, but it's a station team, right? There's, LeMahieu's not a hitter anymore. You got a lot of strikeout guys, right? Because strikeouts are cool. Like, okay, strike out 108 times. It's okay. But the Braves actually had some contact guys on their squad. You think, how could everybody – you do have injuries. You lose a couple guys for the year. It hurts. But that's a disappointing season there. Because you got Sale, who's he might win the Cy Young the way he's pitched.
Boy, he was great last night.
I mean, he's 13-3, 177 Ks, 0.97.
No walks.
Things go right. He might have about 18 wins. And again, with the new baseball, wins aren't important because they were hyping Paul Skeens to win. He might be 10-3 or something. I mean, get the heck out of here with that on the last place team. Sale is the best pitcher on a top 5 team. Our team, you're going to roll out. If you get 18 wins, heck, you can be 7. He's at 13. He gets 17 wins on a team that could possibly go under in 80-plus games this year because it can't score runs. Come on. Yankees, I always thought they were kind of a fraud to start the season. I thought if they would have signed Snell out of the bat, right? He turned down their contract, and then they didn't offer him something else. He took a sweet little deal with the Giants. Did they not see the rotation of Cortez, who had a half a season a couple years ago, Gill, was a rookie basically. You don't know how well he's going to hold up. Rodon always kind of gets a little banged up. You're waiting on Clark Schmidt to come back. I mean, he's not Clark Kent. He's not Superman. And you had Cole coming back from an injury. And you talk about Gleber and LeMahieu, and Volpe isn't. I mean, that guy was supposed to be. Oh, it could be Jeter. Well, I mean, he's not even. Who's the other guy? Didi Gregorius. I mean, give me Didi Gregorius over Volpe. What are you going? They got problems, and I don't think they've cheapened out. Right? They could have went after some big guys at the break. Nope, they didn't trade anybody. Yankee fans, I don't think you're getting to the World Series. Oriole fans, I said the Orioles, and I was adamant. I'm like, put it in cement. They're going to go get a relief pitcher to add to the bullpen, maybe another closer. They didn't do anything. You see how they're scuffling now. I think the Astros, just because they have the pedigree and the experience, I would not be shocked Seattle if they get into playoffs, because I think they're two back of the wild card, because them and Houston are like back and forth. But one of those guys might not even make the playoffs. They have a great staff. Why do I feel like I want the Royals to get in there, but why do I feel like Minnesota is going to upset the apple cart and like win the Central?
The trouble with Minnesota, Sean, is they can't ever get by the Yankees in the playoffs. I mean, it's just absolutely absurd. I think the Yankees won 19 out of 20 against them, and that's a big issue. And the Yankees, who could use pitching for sure, had one of their top relief pitchers turn into a starter. We'll be talking about him later on today in one of our games, and doing really well with the Padres. So, Michael King. I think they got too many holes myself.
And there's a team in the Padres in Arizona. I mean, that was a big win for the Dodgers yesterday. Now, you mentioned your picks for yesterday. I had a loser here. We went 2-1. I had the loser here with the Dodgers over, because I thought, Kershaw would give up a couple more runs. Big win for them, because Arizona and Padres are right on their heels.
Yeah, our Padres been playing great, and quite surprisingly, because I don't think it was anticipated after all the disappointments we've had with them in the past, when they were hyped year after year and never really did anything. But you know what, Sean, go off the beaten path. I didn't even get to talk to you about this. Did you get to see the numbers this week and for the preseason football for Game 2? Because there were some very interesting things out there. I know we'll get to talk about it later in the week. I just wanted to bring it up to you and get your wheels turned about it, because I thought I saw some very interesting numbers out there this week.
From this past weekend, or the one coming up? What do you mean? From last week?
It's the beat goes on here with football. We have to just take advantage while we can.
The lines from yesterday morning, Sunday night, and Monday into what they got to by Monday afternoon, crazy movement.
I had circled a number of games, and in every game I circled, there was like a 3.5 or 4 point move when the wise guys hit it immediately. So it's going to be really interesting this week. I think we've got some good things out there.
Every game I put on the sites, I can't even sell a package, because every line has moved. Like every total's moved 2 points. Any game I took, whether it be an underdog, it's the line has moved down. I had the Giants at 5. They're 3 or whatever.
Yeah.
I had the Saints at +2.5 or +2. They're favored now. So the thing with that is, does it mean it's going to win? Doesn't mean anything. But that's the argument, right? Let's talk about that for a minute or two, right? People talk about the closing line value, CLV. It's not a guarantee that it's going to win, right?
No, there's no such thing.
And the other side of it, who are anti-CLV, is like, well, it's a feel-good win. Who cares? A win is a win. Right. I disagree with that, because I get it. A win is a win, and there's no juice on winners late at 250. I like to see how the Yankee fans feel about that. Who laid 330 yesterday, because they should win. But I'm of the impression of, like, baseball's 162 games. Betting for me is every day. And anytime I have a better number than what it closes at, I have to feel good. Like, not that it's a feel-good win, like, oh, rah, like a participation trophy. But if I like a team and it's 2, and then all of a sudden it flips in their favor, or I like an over and under and it moves another way, I'm like, well, that's good for your purposes of you're on the right. you're going to win a lot more than you lose over the long run in that. You're going to be in the high 50%, or even if you're having an epic year in the 60s. But, it's frustrating to the fact that when you get the number and then it goes the other way, you're like, how the heck did I lose that? Right? Those are the worst ones. Like, I got a good number, but what's it mean?
That's why we call it gambling. I mean, they're
stealing.
putting up a number, we're challenging their number, and we go head to head with them every day.
It's a lot of movement. And I think that's also to the fact that we lose the one preseason game, right? So now we're down to the third. So is this the week? And I'm guessing because the way everything went, the screen lit up, is we're going to see some guys play. Regulars kind of play a little more here, maybe a half, maybe a quarter, whatever the case may be. Some guys will be like, you know what, we're not playing this week. We'll get them ready for next week because we still have a bye after that. So I think you see some of the market. Some coaches are going to be all in this week. I mean, is Denver or the Raiders a 7-point favorite? I mean, Denver's a huge thing. Like I
learned a lot from week one, Sean. I learned a lot.
We said yesterday all those unders, in that first week.
Right, 12-4. You said.
Yeah, and a lot of the point spread moves were losers last week. If you were late to the point spread move, you come in after the fact. You probably lost some games there, but hey, like you said, it's gambling. It's not stealing. It's but let's talk some gambling here. Like, you don't gamble with your life, folks. Hit the like button. It's good. It's good for your health. You got Kansas City and Minnesota today. I am a Royals guy. I got a Royals over. I got a Ragans over 11.5 wins. I need him to get it done for me tomorrow. This team, Bobby Witt, you've talked about him before.
Yep.
If Judge goes down, which is possible because Stanton, or swing away from some kind of abdomen pull or something. What a year for him. Another guy having a great year. The starting pitcher today, Seth Lugo. Are you kidding me? 13-6 on the season. Pretty good 2.72 ERA. I know it's not lauded, it's lauded as it used to be when you have a good ERA. Having a great year.
Yeah.
The Twinkies are bringing up a youngster. He's number 5 in their pipeline. He was the number 2 pitcher for them in the minors coming into the season, but Festa's already up here. He was the number 1, so he was only a guy behind him. So is he a 1A? Not know much, out of the minors. He got 18 games this year, 97 innings, 114 Ks. Last year, 105 innings, 112 Ks. So he's not a huge, overpowering kind of guy where you think he's gonna, come in and Paul Skeens you up and strike out 6 in 4 innings or something like that. The line is low. I mean, 125. They're favored for. I'm guessing this line is based on KC away from home and their struggles away from home. But I don't want to drag too much into my thought on. I'll get into it after you have your say. But what do you think? KC and Minnesota, 125. Total is 8.5.
Yeah, we have Minnesota here, a game and a half in front of Kansas City, who's been let's put it this way. Sean, you were right about one thing. If you bet $100 on every game Kansas City's played this year, even though they're a game and a half behind Minnesota, you'd be up $1,000. So the bookies have underrated them. You have been on top of that, getting value each and every time out. Seth Lugo having a career year. This is the first time he's won double digits, Sean. He's never won more than 8 games in any single season. And I know we spoke about at the All-Star break how you expected a regression out of him and in the second half of the season. And to let you know, his last 6 starts, what he's done, he's got 6 runs, 1 run, 6 runs, 1 run, 5 runs, 0-0. So he's in and out. He's in and out. The Royals have gone over the total 8 of the last 10 games that they played. And Minnesota, like I said, they have a rookie pitcher coming out there today, not knowing exactly what he has. I think this is going to be go over the total. The total of 8.5 is pretty strong. I think it's going to go over. Minnesota's gone 5-2-2 to the over in their last 9. So we have a trend there on both sides. So I'm going to stick with that. I think the game goes over the total, Kansas City and Minnesota. And I still have a triple play of best bet action tonight at gamblersworld.net.
All right, Chipper's official play over 8.5, Mini and KC. Yeah, I did say Lugo amongst a bunch of pitchers. Like, you think you're pitching over your head, it's going to catch up with you. Maybe it's not the whole season, but you're going to have a couple bad starts. and maybe he has his the last 3. I know he's had some bad ones, but his 2 starts versus Minnie this year, 6 innings, 2 hits, no runs back in March 30th, I guess was opening day. And then the end of May, 6 innings, 6 hits, just 1 run. Not too shabby there. But like you said, I got a rookie pitcher coming up who he's not going to go more than 5 innings. At best, the guy can be throwing a no-hitter. They're not throwing some young kid out there just throw it to the wind. No, because they have playoff hopes, and you're bringing up a guy like this because you got some pitching problems. Yeah, obviously you got to work things around. But over 8.5 here, official play, Kansas City, Minnesota Twins. Should be a good game, man. I'm kind of excited about this one because I like the Royals. You know, they came out of nowhere. What was that, like 8-10 years ago when they went to the World Series with a bunch of bullpen guys in that year? Wade Davis leading the way. But all right, next up for me, Twitter. Go follow us on Twitter. Me, Chip, Gamblers World. We're all on Twitter. Hit the like buttons again. I want 15,000 by the end of the year. Can we do that, please? All right. Enough about that. I always got to get the likes in there. Because if you don't hit the like button or comment, be part of the show here, folks. We do the live shows on Friday, but, Chip comments sometimes on the YouTube channel. I try to hit the little thumbs up there. We appreciate the feedback. At least I do. That's why I always mention it. But I got the Pirates and San Diego today. The Pirate team, and they heard me last night. We talked about yesterday's games. I had the Padres run line up 2-0. You get the base hit, and then a defensive indifference. They let the guy go to second base, and then I get a ground ball, ricochet off a first baseman, and they score. And there goes my run line. Are you kidding me? Thank you, Padres. Ortiz on the hill for the for the Pirates here, getting a $180. Big dog today. Our guy Michael King. We talk about ex-Yankee. He was, nice kind of years with the Yanks as a reliever and then kind of a spot starter kind of guy. Are you kidding me? This year, 22 starts, a 3.34 ERA. Chip. Like the Yanks wouldn't want this guy in the rotation right now. Like you wouldn't like to see him coming out every 5 days for you.
Yeah.
9-6 record, which is good. And you said about the Padres, like nobody expected it. That's why I think they're dangerous because, the last couple of years they made all the trades, spending big money. Machado, it's Darvish. We're trading for Tatis, and all these names are coming in here, and yet here they come. Not much expected at them. They get the big reliever at the deadline from the Marlins, and 3.5 back. Is that what they are right now? I believe. Let me get a quick little look here. I know them in Arizona right on the Dodgers' heels. 3.5 back when everyone thought it's all Dodger land. But this kid Ortiz for the Pirates, no thank you here. Bullpen guy, they bring him in to start, stretching him out. He looked good for a little bit. 2.57 ERA July 20th. Then he came in, get some starts under his belt. Yeah, he's got a 3.40 ERA now. You know why? Because you're not going for an inning and a third, not giving up a run. 5 innings, 3 runs. 5 innings, 6 runs. 6 innings, 4 runs. Yeah, that's just will continue. That's what happens when these guys pitch more than an inning. The Padres, to me, bad game last night. I'm going to look at the run line here at even money. It was 2-0 last night. They didn't leave anybody on base. A bunch of nonsensical base hits all over the place. I think they get a big one today here. King's been solid. Not a fan of Ortiz. Pirates in last place. Remember all the hype on these guys to start? Like, oh, look, they're going to the playoffs. They're the playoffs. They're the Pirates. The lineup is not good. Run line, even money for me. Let's go San Diego Padres with King on the hill.
Well, Sean, Pittsburgh's lost 7 in a row, 9 of their last 10. They're only 5 games under 500, which at this point, I think at the beginning of the year, if we had discussed this and said, gee, after 130 games, this team's going to only be 5 games under 500, we'd have been glad to take it. But They're not playing well right now, and San Diego is. They've won 8 of their last 10. And how about King, what he's done?
Yeah.
He's given up, in his last 10 starts, 1 run 5 times and 2 runs 3 times. Those 2 times he got bombed out. I don't like laying this big price. Like you talked about the money line. I think that may be the way to go. But I think Padres are definitely the side, particularly the way the Pirates are having their slide. But, Sean, I got to go off tangent a little bit here because there's a really interesting thing. I don't know if you're aware of. On August 13th, 1963, there was a pitcher for the Chicago White Sox. His name was Dave the Busher. Dave the
Wait, the
Busher.
Busher from the Knicks?
That Dave the Busher was playing basketball at this exact same time for the Detroit Pistons. He was 3-4 with the White Sox and pitched a shutout on this date in 1963. His career ERA was 2.90. And so concerned, and he ends up being a Hall of Fame NBA player, 12 seasons, 8 times All NBA. In 1964, he was 24 years old, and the Pistons made him the head coach. He was the player coach from 64 to 68 until he was traded to the New York Knicks, where, of course, he had a great career, and he was All-NBA 8 times. Dave the Busher is one of 13 people that played Major League Baseball and in the NBA at the same time. All right, I gave it to you. I don't know if you knew about it.
I had no idea. That's what he said. I was like, Dave the Busher didn't play in the NBA. I was like, I had no idea he was a baseball guy.
Yeah, well, see, I remember being in junior high school and that him being hired as the head coach. And I said, well, the guy was pitching for the White Sox 2 days ago. And the Pistons did that to keep him out of baseball. And he stopped playing baseball after the 63 season. And also on this date, Larry Doby, Hall of Famer, the first black player in the American League, was committed his first error in 167 games in the outfield. And on this date, Rocky Colavito, we talk about guys having 2 different actions. In other words, they can function as a first baseman, a pitcher, an outfielder. Rocky Colavito came out of right field to pitch 3 hitless innings for the Detroit Tigers. For the Cleveland Indians against the Detroit Tigers. So that's it for August 13th. And hopefully we can come up with a couple of winners today, not only on the show, but at the website. Like I said before, I've got 3 from out there going to triple play. And I know, Sean, you've been doing really well in baseball as well.
Yeah, baseball's a nice season overall. Little hiccup yesterday, but it is what it is. It's a long season. Sometimes you have a little bad one. I love the card today. Got a bunch of games up for today as well. But I'm just the Busher. I'm gonna have to go look that up on the web. That's so interesting because you think about guys who played like the dual sport kind of thing, which is more you see. You had like Whitfield was, I think, drafted for a bunch of teams. I think Tony Gwynn as well was a
at San Diego State. Yeah,
San Diego State. He was like an all basketball kind of guy, which is bizarre. You look at Tony even back in 1983 when he was a rookie in 330, didn't really have a physique of a basketball player, but I don't know. It just goes to show you the levels. And then you have people like Bo Jackson and Dion and Bernard Gilkey was Gilkey was another guy.
The best I ever saw at both sports.
Oh, he was ridiculous. I know they talk
golf too.
I know they talk like Ohtani because he hits and pitches, but Bo Jackson was just on another level for a dual sport. I know, like Dion got a little play. Bernard Gilkey for the Cardinals was pretty good. He was a dual kind of guy, but I still remember watching Bo Jackson hit that home run in the All-Star game. Like,
I saw him hit 3 in one game at Yankee Stadium, and Deion Sanders, who you just mentioned in the same game, had a grand slam. It was an incredible day to be at Yankee Stadium. But but Bo Jackson, he was so impressive. Just totally in each sport. Deion Sanders, it took him time to evolve in baseball, and he used his speed. He ended up being a 300 hitter. He was a slap hitter, and they had trouble getting him out his last 2 years in the majors.
Oh, he's so fast. Like, you think about Bo, you watch that injury, and you've seen like the little bios and stuff like that, where it almost killed him because of people don't realize you have that vein in your whatever that, I forget the name of the artery, whatever it is there, but
the hip joint.
Yeah, it really killed him.
Yeah.
So, man, how good. Anyway, all right, me and Chipper go on tangents. He'll go a little deeper into the 60s, but I'll get into my 80s youth. So, but Chip likes the over in the Twins game. I like the Padres on the run line. We both like for you to hit the like button here. Give us a shout out on the Winner Circle Podcast YouTube channel here. You can follow us on Twitter. We'll talk some more football tomorrow. Be me and Chip again, some baseball. We got Eagles Patriots on Thursday night, so we'll dabble into that a little bit because there's another game. Patriots 2-point underdog. Now all of a sudden a 2-point favorite. Why is that? we'll talk about some betting kind of angles and stuff maybe tomorrow to start the show.
Yep.
Give you a little something to wet your teeth heading into a weekend of Week 2 NFL preseason. But for Chip and myself, Winner Circle Sports Betting Podcast wrapping up. GamblesWorld.net, come give us a look for premium content. And we will see you on Wednesday. Take it easy, folks.